Hello, this is Strider, Regional Director for the Guardian Angels here in Baltimore, but get to drop that Baltimore stuff because I got a lot of chapters across the country and you guys are going to see them all because we got a lot of good, big stuff coming up. And, all the years I think that we've been doing this is kind of our turn to shine. So, especially after the first of the year, you guys are going to see some really cool stuff. Welcome to Beyond the Streets. Again, I know that with me working all over the place and doing Guardian Angel stuff all over the place and with my job and the family, it gets kind of crazy, but I'm working on toning things down. I get so many texts of people saying, when are you going to slow down? When are you going to stop it? Because you're doing too much, you're going to have a stroke and a heart attack. Maybe. But until I do, I'm going to keep doing what I do, and I'm going to bring as much of what I do to you through Beyond the Streets. And I want to thank TV Free Baltimore for having the Guardian Angels on here again, and these are the guys that are going to be kicking out our show. Now, this is going to be a really cool show, and I'm going to tell you why. Because for the first time from Beyond the Streets, of all the podcasts and all the video stuff that we've done, I actually have my twin brother Taps on here. Okay? Anybody who's grown up with us or knows Taps knows he's got a worse attitude than I do. Okay? I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Taps is a nice guy, but on a different side. My mother used to say, you guys are the two sides of the same coin. So now you guys get the whole coin today because we are joined by Taps, who is the co-coordinator of the Guardian Angels here in Baltimore. And also on our show, we have Finesse Depps from Indie Soul Magazine, who has been a part of the Guardian Angels for so long. Hi, Taps. Hi, Finesse.
What's going on?
How you doing?
So, with that, I want to talk about Taps. This is the first time that you and I have actually done a podcast or a video podcast together.
This is true. This is true.
So what do you think?
Happy to be here.
Happy to be. Guys, listen to that. Okay. I wish this was. We're gonna have to do this so you guys can call in and literally ask him questions. Okay. But now Taps again was part of the original Guardian Angels when we first joined back in the '80s. Okay. And Taps kind of hung in there with us as we were doing all this. And man, we're talking about '06, so we're looking at 13, 14 years here that we've been doing the Guardian Angel thing. So you remember what it was like for us in the 80s and all the stuff that we had to go through, so all the crazy stuff that we do now and how things have done, and I guess under our tenure and, my basic command and your basic command. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about the changes and how we've progressed from the times we had in the 80s, which was crazy all in all?
I think the biggest change that I see, obviously, is the Guardian Angels is doing so much more than what we did in the 80s. In the 80s, all we really did was we did a lot of patrolling on the streets. We had Angels boots to the concrete, day and night, patrolling Baltimore. Also went to a few other chapters and all. But now, it's plus with the internet, it's made the world so much smaller, so we communicate with the different chapters so much easier, and the Angels has grown so much since then. So.
Well, you're looking at 42, 43 years.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we do so much more than we did back then. Then you walk through neighborhoods and you did the patrols. Now we do community-oriented type stuff. We do the missing person. We do the animal rescue and abuse prevention. We do the senior self-defense and the community activism and the safety patrol walks. And, granted, a lot of the stuff that I guess I kind of got us into, what part of that, because I know Taps is a patrol angel. He's the kind of guy that wants to go out and do the patrols and hit the street and train the angels, but when it comes to the community type stuff, what is it, what part do you like and don't like? You can't say don't.
Community stuff?
As far as what have we done different?
I can't say I dislike any particular part of it. You know what I mean? Some of the community meetings are pretty cool. I like that, except certain spots where we go, I just really don't like. Like when we're dealing with the police and at the police headquarters and stuff. I mean, I'm not really into that. That's not my cup of tea. I'd rather be, doing the street stuff.
Let's talk about the training.
What part of you want to talk about? The martial arts?
I think the training has changed to a point because now back in the day, we would have to train guardian angels for self-defense and all that kind of, which we still do.
Right.
One of the good things about the guardian angels, we have some of the best historic martial artists around. We had the Sean Kellys and the Bill Wallaces and the Joe Lewises, if you can believe it or not. But now the guardian angels has stepped into the mediation part of training more than anything. So we have people who didn't like speaking at crowds, and now they can speak at a crowd. They can command a room and that kind of stuff. I mean, the angels have changed in so many ways, and it's just, I kind of see the guardian angels going into a whole different realm of a lot. I mean, we didn't do half the stuff that we do now. We didn't do that stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, it's like we're evolving.
We are evolving.
Something else.
We are like the ape. We are evolving. No, we're like the shark. We're like the shark because those guys kick ass and they've just been doing it for 100 years. They're good. So we're like the shark.
With something.
Or something. So again, we have Indie Soul Magazine, Finesse Demps here, and he basically met up with us in years ago.
2003, 2004.
No, it was a while. Mm-hmm. But in the Soul Magazine, you've always been a good supporter of the Guardian Angels, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
You lived in New York.
Right, upstate New York, Syracuse.
Syracuse. Now, of course, down in Syracuse, I don't see them having Guardian Angels up there unless they're doing something upstate-ish. But did you ever run across the ones in New York?
I knew about the Guardian Angels because down in Brooklyn, New York, Harlem, in those areas, that's where the Guardian Angels were known. So we knew about them. So I had a pretty good idea about them. So when I moved here from Florida to Baltimore, read about you guys. At that time, I had my column in the Baltimore Times.
Right, that's right. And you covered us at the Essex Historical Museum event day.
And you guys do so much for the community. My column, basically, what I wanted to cover was black and brown events that were for our people. And I knew what the Guardian Angels was about and stood for. So when I saw that here in Baltimore, I said, I got to cover them and put you guys in the magazine. So I've been covering you guys for years. You guys have done so much and been a strong supporter of Indie Soul column that now we've grown into the magazine.
And the magazine is awesome. Like I said, we do follow Finesse in the Soul magazine. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And actually, you want to talk about the event that I'm going to be with you on December 7th.
December 7th. So from the magazine, I was able to start Indie Soul Management. I manage music artists and a couple of authors. And we host events. We partner with Hotel RL, which is in Baltimore. Actually, all the Hotel RLs. They want me to do a lot of shows with them. So we started something. I wanted to do educational stuff. So one of the things we're going to do is we're doing a book reading along with Sisters in Strength, and we've actually asked you to be on a panel because we're talking to author David Miller about raising kings. We're talking about addressing things and addressing young black boys and young black men. So we wanted you on there because that goes hand in hand with what you guys doing with the Guardian Angels. There may be some brothers or some sisters that want to come out and do something for the community. They may not want to be a police officer. They want to do something else. And I would advise somebody to look into the Guardian Angels because you guys do so much for the community.
One of the things is it's funny with the Guardian Angels because, and like I said, thank you. I'm looking forward to the whole thing. I'm probably going to bring a few of the angels with me when I come down. One of the things when it comes to community service and the Guardian Angels is if you look at it, across the country, I can go outside and get 10 people to do something crazy. It's hard to get people now to reach out and do things within the community because you worry about your lawsuits. You worry about I guess the threat, the hazards, and we've been in Baltimore since 2006, we've never had one physical altercation. And a lot of that has to do with the training of the Guardian Angels and how we put stuff back in place. But when it comes to community, now you look at Baltimore. Baltimore is a rough city of 600,000 people. And we're going through a lot right now. But granted, you know, we have great community leaders here. We have great movements here, and especially after Freddie Gray, people just popped out of the woods and say, we can do better. And we have a whole bunch of them here. We have a whole bunch of people that are leading the way. And, you know, of course, we got a lot of councilmen and we got a lot of public officials and all this kind of stuff that came out of all of that chaos. Now, you cover a lot of the events within the inner city when it comes to community activism and that kind of stuff. Where do you see Baltimore and community activism? Because I see, you can still see this, to me, you still see the same faces doing different things. And you may all have the same goal, but it's still the same faces that are out there trying to do things. But it takes work to get different people to step up and say, hey, I want to participate and be a part of this and this movement.
I say this, having started my own magazine, the purpose in starting my own magazine wasn't to get back at the Baltimore Times, or wasn't because of the Afro, wasn't doing things I didn't think they were doing, but because I wanted to have another voice in the community. I think when you're talking about doing stuff in the community, you have to let some of these younger people come up and speak and be a part of things. There's a lot of great young voices out there. You look at the leadership, and I think there needs to be term limits, because you got so many leaders that have been in those chairs, and they're not doing anything.
Right.
So you gotta have some younger people come in there with some ideas and thoughts, and be a part of how do you bring up the next Elijah Cummings if you don't bring young people along.
And like you said, the sad, Baltimore is one of the cities where you can literally run for office as long as somebody knows your name, and you're good with it because they know your name. And realistically, if you now remember, we have a low voter turnout for Baltimore, but at the same time, it's like you almost vote for what's familiar, you know.
And I think that's why you have that low voter turnout, because you got the same people promising the same thing, and then when you look at things from the political standpoint and the corruption, Baltimore, as much as I love this city that has adopted me and stuck by me by so much, let's just be honest, corruption in the police department, corruption in the political department, corruption in the school systems. And the only way that's going to change is you let some younger voices come in and implement some of the ideas. You got to be able to sit down and talk to them. You got to sit down and reach across the board and talk and communicate.
And the funny thing is, it's crazy because if you think about it, this is probably one of the worst times politically in Baltimore that I've seen. And I don't say that because of all the different candidates we got running. Now, you saw it when, I think when Blake ran. You had, 19 people running. You know, you had, and now you got so many. But the thing is, it's one of those things where everybody can do better. But at the same time, like you said, we've been to multiple police commissioners in the last few years, multiple mayors, multiple city council president, the state's attorney's office, you know, but you have so much going on right now. And the biggest thing about it is, obviously, we cannot hide the crime. The murder rate in Baltimore is something that people talk about no matter where you go. I work in New York. I work in Chicago. I work in New England. And people come up to you all the time and say, oh, hey, where you from? And I'll say, oh, I'm from Maryland. You know, where? Baltimore? I say, yeah, I'm from Baltimore. Man, it's crazy there. You know, we use a lot of cops that shut down the roads we do gas lines, so you got to have to just, and a lot of these guys, you say Baltimore, everybody knows what Baltimore is, but it's not because of the Inner Harbor or the Crabs or even the Ravens. Of course, now our Ravens are kicking ass right now, so a lot of people are saying, oh, go Ravens fans. So they're doing good Ravens. But at the same time, when it comes to the police department, that's a big deal, big deal. You talk about the mayor's office, there's another big deal. You know, and you sit there and you wonder, when is all this going to stop? Because every day we open up the news and something else is going on. Right. And it just seems like it's just getting worse. We got the Suter shooting. We got the mayor going to prison. You know, we just had a police commissioner go to jail. You know, I mean, it's like, politically, it's like I'm just sitting here waiting to see what's going to happen. What's next?
I think you're going to have a continuous issue with the crime, and it's based off the whole thing of corruption. When you can solve that, just even temporarily, because unless you're God, it's never going to be solved permanently. So in case you can solve it temporarily, and until you do, you're still going to have these same problems.
I think that in order to stop the crime, you can't stop this crime overnight.
No.
You can't stop this crime with one person, one man.
Nope.
But the sad thing about it is, when we have this violence and all this stuff, a lot of this stuff, everybody tries to justify it. It's like the presidency with Trump. The man can do whatever the hell he wants, and there's always somebody that's going to sit around and try to justify the bullshit that he does. And that's just me. I know I can't talk about political stuff, but I'm talking about the political stuff because this kind of is a perfect example. He can go out and say and do whatever he wants to do, and everybody's going to still support that. Same thing with our crime. You lock up a kid, what's the first thing they say? He's a kid. Yeah, he's a kid, but this kid may be a murderer. This kid may be this. He may be a repeater. When's the crime going to stop? But then again, we put out flyers, we put out news bulletins, we put out flashes, we're trying to find this person did this, we're trying to find that person did that, and we won't do anything to turn criminals in. We don't get them off the street. I don't want to hear about the retaliation. Is that what you're going to say?
No. What I was going to say is, you talking about the crime and how to stop it and all, but, when you just said about the political issue, it's corrupt all the way to the top. So, we worrying about the guy on the street, but man, you look at the mayor's office. You know what I mean? So, what do you do? Who sets the standard on how do you supposed to live when everybody's numb to what's going on? You know what I mean? Totally numb. Something happened right down the street, and people just break out their phones and film it instead of doing something. Like calling 911. Like
with our angel Michael O'Hara. They had all tons of video, but nobody stepped in to do anything. Right. But at the same time, I get what you're saying when it comes to the leaders. If the leaders are stepping in, everybody's like, okay, well, we can step in it too. So what's the difference? Right. But at the same time, you gotta stop it.
It's a deal. The emperor has no clothes.
Yeah, the emperor has no clothes.
Nobody tell them until somebody say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, but it's at the same time, how do you put an end to all the shootings? You can't. It would be nice. The police commissioner's not going to do it by himself. No. The mayor's office is not going to do it. You need to really change the laws and figure out what to do. People's got to be afraid to go to jail and again. Exactly. Nobody's afraid to go to jail. You can go to court, and all you're going to do is show up, ask for a postponement, they'll let you go, and you're good to go. And then, you'll be out another 3 or 4 years. But at the same time, you can go to court, but nobody goes to jail because we don't hold them anymore. We want to, let's just do this because it was the lead paint or whatever the hell it is. But the fact of the matter is, people are getting their asses kicked and killed out here every single day. And you don't have enough police to police, but then again, the police you have don't want to police.
Right. Right.
How can why would you police if something happens to you can't do anything anymore because nobody's there to back you up, or you got so much fear between the police. I kid you not, I live in Anne Arundel County. I see cops show up and I ask myself as a guardian angel, what are you gonna do when a cop pulls you over and then starts messing with you? It's a scary thing.
Out of colors, scared to death of them.
Out of colors, yeah. But it's a big deal. But at the same time, when it comes to community and crime, what is our responsibility? And I say that as a community person because my thing is I always go to the community and I say, look, you got to see something, you got to say something. There's ways to protect. But you got to, if you know that your neighbor is doing bullshit, get him off the street. If you know your boyfriend just went out and shot somebody, make a phone call. Your girlfriend shot somebody, call her up, get her out of here. And I tell people all the time, I wish I knew people that did all these crimes because Christmas is coming. I would go ahead and call up and get the reward money. You know how much money I'd have? I don't care what it is. I'm sure you got somebody living in your house that's not paying you rent. It ain't no damn good. You need Christmas money? Turn their asses in. Get yourself a couple grand. I mean, what? That's good money.
I'm going to come at this from just a media standpoint. I would like to see black media do better. And with black media, I mean bloggers, podcasters, magazine, newspapers. I don't think we do enough to share some of the programs and stuff that's out there for us. At the same time, I think those people that have programs, they're going to the Sun, they're going to Jay-Z, they're going to WBAL. You're not coming to black media who's
How
talking
much black
to you
media is
people.
out there?
It's a bunch.
What is it? Name some.
It's Indie Soul
Magazine.
Well, listen,
I know you.
Well, wait. So
I know you.
So let me use myself for an example, and Baltimore Times, because I work there.
Mm-hmm.
People do not contact us. They have programs, after school programs. They got programs for people looking jobs. These people never contact us, but they go here, and then the first thing they say is, well, no one wants to cover us. And they think because we're small and we're black, it's not big enough.
I call you.
You do, but
I know.
You saw the results.
Yeah.
Other people don't look at it. They say, well, it's not big enough. Oh, you're only online.
Or you know what really get, and like you said, and yeah, now you look at the mainstream, like the Foxes and the WBALs and ABCs and
they get so much news they can't do you.
Yeah, but look at the news they get. Look at the news they get. Do you know that we did a honk, you know, which was a big deal. You know, it was our 7th annual one. It was all over the world. About 2 people who were missing in Cherry Hill. Okay, mother and daughter team. Mother was a vet and all that kind of stuff. You know what they covered?
What?
They covered the state fair and how big the pigs and shit were. The hell is that? You know, my thing is, you know, you literally gotta. I mean, it's gotta be the news should take a certain amount of time. And one, I think you're right. I think they should go out and promote not only the bad stuff, but the good stuff.
Right.
Or the stuff that's out trying to make a change for something. Because granted, look, and we talk about the community leaders all the time. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows what they're. I know who they are. The community leaders, we know who we all are because we interact. But at the same time, we don't share anything with the big time media, won't cover anything. And we said, oh, we got this is such a great story. And no.
But the mindset is, I'm going to deal with somebody big and not small because they're not important. And that's a mindset we got to get over, because this person has a podcast. You got to look at their average amount of listeners. You can see that.
No, you can see that.
So if you can see that, why are you not sending a press release? Why are you not sending your announcement for your music or your book and saying, hey, can you come cover me?
And I think that's a good point.
When you reached out to me about the Guardian Angels, okay, I know I was the only one covering the Guardian Angels.
Yeah, unless something crazy happened, then everybody will call us.
No.
But I was out there. You guys got an award in Essex. I was out of Essex. When you did something downtown, I went, because I know there's more news than what's out there.
And there is. And like I said, this is one of the reasons why we do Beyond the Streets. Because you know what? I don't have anybody telling me what I can and can't say.
Right.
I can talk about what I want to talk about with who I want to talk about. You know, I can get taps on here, and really we can have it so the FCC shuts us down. All I got to do is piss him off.
Let's not.
And so,
but like you said, you know, there is a thing with the media. I'm glad you brought up the mainstream media, because you know what? When it comes to the shootings, the homicides, you know, now they'll say, oh, you get like a 3-second thing about it. But now when it comes to the homicides and the shootings in Baltimore, do you think those get reported enough?
Overkill. There again, though, that's mainstream media. You don't own it. See what I'm saying? You don't own it. We own. I can think of, there's Power 4.4, which is an internet radio station. They're good. There's Baltimore Flavor Radio. They're good.
You ever heard of Indie Soul?
Oh, Indie Soul is the best. But anyway, and let me say this too. If you want to contact me, it's indiesoulmag@gmail.com.
And we'll put that on here.
And send me your press releases. Send me your stories. We'll send somebody to come cover it.
And at the same time, now you said the homicides were overkill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all they say is this person was shot. I think that if you're going to, honestly, if the mainstream media was going to cover homicides in Baltimore, cover the homicides in Baltimore. One of the things I wish I had a bigger staff to do is to pretty much say, okay, let's talk about the homicides. I'd like to track one homicide and show how many people this one single homicide touches. Everything from the doctors, from the jails, from the courts, from the families.
But now you're talking about a special. That's different than in a newscast.
It's a different newscast,
but you only got X amount of time to do
but you know what? It's only X amount of time because you know what? If they wanted to change something, or if they wanted to make something better, they take the time to cover it.
Well, it's all about money. Now, I do think you can have a special once a month to do something like that you're talking about, and that's a news special. You know, nothing against the Ravens, but they do so many Ravens specials. But why don't you do something on mental health?
Well, we tried that too, remember?
You know
we
what
did
I'm
a whole
saying?
campaign partner with the police department about mental health. Mental health, in my opinion, is a real deal.
And it should have
It's
been
a big
talked
deal.
about.
But you know what? Now you think about it, I mean, I'm old, okay?
You're not old.
You didn't have all these mental health issues when I was a kid. Not everybody had all these. If
maybe
they did,
it wasn't recognized.
or maybe
Exactly.
it wasn't
You know what I
recognized.
mean?
Maybe, but now there's nothing in 2019 that's not out there. You name one everything from sexual abuse or sexual changes or bipolar issues. Everything is just so in your face right now. You know, they even changed. You know, they changed the. You can't say manholes covers in California. It has to be some other bullshit.
See, now that's a whole nother topic.
That's the political.
What?
That's the political correct type stuff.
Yeah. I'm not.
Didn't you
that's
hear
too
that?
much.
You didn't
I
hear
heard
that?
that. I heard that. You can't call them manholes anymore.
You can't call them manhole because it's like gender specific or something like that. So I mean, there's all kind of crazy names, guys. When you watch this, when you put your comments down, talk about something that we can't say anymore. You know, because I mean, political correct. I mean, everything just.
You can't say anymore.
You know, you can't abuse or offend anybody anymore. It's sad. I remember when I was little, I was abused and all the time. Made me tough.
Yeah.
You know, now we got guys and say, I got a B. God, stop it! It's a B.
You know, my friends
I
and
gotta
I.
sit in my safe place.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
friends.
go sit in your safe place.
My friends and I were talking about this the other day. We used to make jokes about each other. Mine was I was dark and too short. That's funny. It made me tougher. Now you say that. Now you're bullying.
And now, you know what we have to do? We have to call your parents.
Right.
And then we're going to have a school meeting and send letters to all the parents because you're dark and you're short.
But I think everything should be by case, because there is some bullying. There was some bullying when I was growing up.
Definitely.
But then there's just jokes.
But you know, you think about now. You talk about bullying. Everybody's bullied at some point by our wives, our bosses, our friends, our kids.
You bullied Taps tonight to get on the show.
Right.
I did.
Stop
You
the bullying.
need counseling now.
Stop the bullying.
We need counseling for Taps because we made. I said, hey, you're gonna do this show. Get your colors on. Get your ass down to the studio.
I was a witness.
And he said, okay. That's what he said. But at the same time, you talk about the bullying, which is a serious matter.
It is.
We have the Guardian Angels have our own bullying campaign. We talk about it all the time, and you know. But you look. I've never seen the amount of kids under 10, you know, under 18, who have killed themselves in the name of bullying. Okay, but at the same time, you know what we have now that we didn't have back then?
What?
The internet.
Oh yeah, internet bullying.
You go to school and you got a bully in school back when we were young. You know, when they bullied your school, you go home, you're fine because he's not there. You was off on weekends and every day after 4.
Now they follow you home on
Now
Facebook.
they follow you home on Facebook, on Instagram, and text messages. You know,
Right.
So basically, where the hell do you get your break? I mean, it's sad. The internet is a wonderful thing, but also the internet's changed so much that nobody has private lives anymore. Nobody has communication anymore. We don't sit. We're sitting down here and talking to each other, but you know why? Because we're streaming a show on the internet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
But
and
that's a great way for people again to see another side of media that they're not gonna see. And to your point about kids and bullying and the internet, I don't understand, and I don't have kids. I don't understand why parents don't set rules and regulations. That's a whole nother issue. You don't have rules and regulations, you're gonna have these issues.
It's hard. It's hard to set rules and regulations, but you gotta.
Some of these parents are kids.
And that's the problem.
And you're exactly
You know what I
right.
mean?
But the thing is, like, my kids, I know all their passwords. I know
You
who
should,
their friends are.
because you
I
had
know
that
where they
child.
go.
You should.
I know all this stuff, and it terrifies me. My biggest thing is, if I could put a chip in my kids, I would. With this human trafficking and the kids going missing, that scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I would put a chip in my kid in the heartbeat. You know who's got a chip?
Who?
We got 2 rescued puppies, dogs. They got chips in them. Every dog you get basically has a chip in it. The cat, your dog, you can find them that quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now we have 2,300 people go missing every single day. Every 42nd a child goes missing, and we don't know where the hell they're going. Go on your Facebook pages, guys, and look at all the posts. I see your post.
Well,
and you get so used to sharing all these missing person posts. The scary thing to me is that it becomes a normal thing and nobody pays attention to it anymore.
I wanna push back against that for a second, because I don't see enough people sharing. I made it a conscious effort as a black media outlet, and I think all black media should be posting our black and missing and Latino brothers and sisters.
Everybody should, because granted, there's no way that minority kids don't get the coverage for missing.
We don't.
They don't get it. And the same thing's going on in like you said, with the Spanish community, all that kind of stuff.
They don't get it. And it only takes 5 minutes for you to post something, and I'm glad you brought that up. We are doing something with you on January 18th. We're going to be talking about black and missing,
I'll be there.
Exploited boys and girls, and sex trafficking. And as a media, what you talked about, no one has had that discussion. We are going to do that conversation. January 18th, we're going to have that conversation on that.
It's a big deal, and it's something that we're going to get more involved in. Basically, we just opened up our first Guardian Angels Missing Persons chapter in San Antonio, Texas.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and the 3 ladies who run it, who are marvelous. Okay, you got Natty, you got Paula, and you got Lupe. Great. Every one of them has a missing loved one in their family. But the good thing about it was that instead of them sitting around, suffering in silence like so many other families, these guys said, we want to do something. And they've been working with us for 8 years. And then they said, we need to do something more. We want to help everybody else. And they have a great community in San Antonio, Texas. We're also opening up their second Guardian Angel Missing Person chapter in Atlanta that's going to be run by Rhonda Treat down there, And Lady T is going to be the one as commander, and she's actually going to be helping us lead stuff here in Baltimore alongside with Taps along with Guy Tom Borders of Peas in Their Pods, our partners.
I was going to say, can we shout out, because you guys use Peas in the Pod?
We use Peas, and Peas has worked with the Guardian Angels since the beginning of our missing person stuff, and they're just excellent partners. So we love you, Guy Tom.
So for everybody that's listening, check out Peas in the Pod.
Peas in the Pod.
And then we use Black and Missing Foundation out of D.C. Those are 2 great organizations. Go to their site, make it a habit to go see who's missing, and repost, reshare on your social media pages. So please.
So we're gonna wrap this up. This is Strider. I'm here with Taps and Finesse, and we are going to come back next week with another show. We're going to have Guy Tom Borders and Peas in Their Pods, and we're going to talk about the San Antonio, Texas chapter and what they have going on, because obviously we spoke to them last night, and they got tons of stuff going on down there. And hopefully I'll be in San Antonio going over some stuff with them guys. And you guys are going to see a lot coming up, because we're going to try to keep you in the know. And as Indie Soul Magazine pointed out here, we're going to start putting together more stories for the Baltimore communities and get some of the communities in here to talk about what it is they do. So Taps is going to probably be on one of these other shows, because we'll bully the hell out of him and make him come back. What do you think?
I think I will.
So in closing,
be safe and help each other. Watch out for each other.
Vanessa.
Follow us on our social media platforms. under Indie Soul Magazine or Indie Soul Management. And once again, the email address is indiesoulmag@gmail.com.
This is Strider. This is Beyond the Streets, and we are out of here. See you next time.